Hello and good afternoon, everyone. This is the Mad Salvi coming to you with a little bit of breaking news in the VTuber sphere. I am a VTuber, so this is something that hits me hard whenever something like this happens. This has not been a last good month or so, 30 days happening, and this month is not going to be any better for some people. What do I mean? I mean that Production Kawaii has announced today that Gen 3, one whole generation, is going to be graduating because of what they call disagreements between them and the management. Let's read what they have to say, what the company itself has to say. Thank you for your continued support to Production Kawaii. We hereby announce that today, Friday, April 7th, 2023, third generation talents Aletta Sky, Mirio Kotofuji, Peonia Aenia, and Sava Safari will be graduating from VTuber Production Kawaii. The management team and Gen 3 have had a disagreement over the directions of the production, and after multiple discussions and meetings, Gen 3 has determined that it remains difficult to continue their VTuber activities in Production Kawaii. So there seems to have been a big stink. Something happened. Something big happened. Something bigger than this is even mentioning. We, the management team, therefore have decided to respect their decisions to part with the company, and we wish them luck in their future endeavors. Please accept our deepest apologies to all fans and related officials for this sudden announcement, as well as our heartfelt gratitude and thanks to everyone who has supported their activities for the past 7 months. The end of service notice. YouTube memberships and exclusive contents will be closing YouTube memberships for each talent on Gen 3 on 23:59 JST, basically 11:59 p.m. JST on April 30th. After this date, you'll no longer be able to receive memberships and view exclusive contents. YouTube channels, basically saying all of their YouTube channels are going to be shut down as well. All of their content is going to be shut down as well. Merchandise is going to be shut down. Everything. Basically, any merchandise you purchased, good, you can purchase it. You can get refunds if you want. Any big type of donations that you've done, you can do the same. Now, this gets deeper because there's a second generation, Nene Amano, from, I believe she's first generation. She's Gen 1, as she says here. So she's a founding member of Production Kawaii, of their first generation of VTubers. She has her own things to say. She said, "Hi, this is Nene Amano of Production Kawaii Gen 1. I'm equally as shocked and pained by this decision made by Gen 3 as the fans are. Production Kawaii has a plan to grow as a company, and Gen 3 did not agree with this, despite initial agreement from them, management, as well as Gen 1 and Gen 2, tirelessly attempted discussions with Gen 3 to no avail. The fact that Gen 3 have decided to collectively leave Production Kawaii so suddenly, despite all of the efforts they have put in, as well as all the trust that I've placed in them, leaves a deep scar in my heart. As a founding member of Production Kawaii, my Gen mates and I have gone through many trials and tribulations in order to bring Production Kawaii where it is today. Despite all of this, we did not give up and never stopped reaching for the stars. Gen 1 and Gen 2 will continue to work hard in order to bring happiness to our fans every day. I can reassure you that the remaining members of Production Kawaii are here to stay. Personally, I would like you to let you know that I very much treasure this opportunity that I've been given to be your angel and will protect this role with all my heart. We'd be very happy if you can continue to support Production Kawaii as we move forward in this matter." And then she links stuff below. And just please read the whole statement thoroughly. No, I'm not going anywhere. Gen 3 willingly chose to graduate. No, management is not the bad guy. They were extremely accommodating and tried all they could to accommodate Gen 3's request. So a little bit of openness here. There's two sides to every story. Always. It could be that it was just a disagreement and they exercised an option in their contract to just graduate. I'm speculating. This whole thing is speculative. This whole conversation that we're having here is speculative on my part, and we'll continue at this. This is me giving you my take on this whole matter, raw take on this whole thing. Now, beyond this, Production Kawaii's third generation have gone to say their goodbyes to their particular fans with the ways that they wanted to, at least on Twitter. And this is what I'm going to be reading next. So next is Aletta Sky. She was, I think, the biggest one in Production Kawaii's Gen 3. I believe she had over 100,000 subscribers from what I saw. She says, I've never been good with words, but thank you for your best. Thank you for being the best, most wonderful, most amazing people. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, I love you so much. Never forget rule number 1, to look after yourself. Thank you for existing and being my sunshine. Daisuki da yo. Now, what she wrote here is an actual handwritten note, which shows a little bit more closeness, a little bit. It's more personal. It's more like, oh wow, she decided to do this. The part that I want to hit is kind of a little bit funny. She says, never forget rule number 1, look after yourselves. Only I'm allowed to break this rule. Of course, since she's the one who is the talent, she's allowed to break the rule because, you know, she's looking after the people who she cares for, which is understandable. Now here's Mirio Kotofuji. Thank you for letting me sing to you. Thunderlings. I guess that's the name of her fan base, Thunderlings. And thank you for being here for me every step of the way. I hope the times I sang your favorite song will always be in your memory. And please take care of yourselves. It's been an honor to meet you. And of course, people are sad because this is, any graduation is sad, man. We've had too many. We've had too many recently. One is too many, but now a whole generation is graduating. And I feel bad for, there's sadness here for the people who are fans of theirs, who I believe it's only been like 8 months for them since they showed up, or maybe even less. I'm not sure. But anytime, I mean, we've just gone through Pikame and others. It's sad to see this happen again. And for a dispute, a issue, a disagreement, whatever you want to call it, for this to happen. Dear Dewdrop, and I guess this is her fan name as well. Thank you for all the precious moments we spent together. I hope they will forever stay in our hearts. And although it's selfish, I hope you will always remember your little fairy peony fondly. So for a final time, good morning, Dew. And please always do well. The little Dew. I like that part. And of course, very personal drawing. Thank you so much, Peony. And of course, they're mentioning how sad they are of everything. I want to do this part because I want to respect the people who are behind each and every talent that is graduating. It is hard to make a decision like that. It is a tough one economically, and being a VTuber myself, even if you have a tiny community, it's hard to let go. It's hard to say goodbye because a community matters to you a lot as a VTuber. And it's tough. Even if you're a big, small, whatever size VTuber, it's tough to leave. Hello, I apologize for the sudden announcement. These past 8 months have been a whirlwind of fun. I would never ask to undo them. You've given me so much joy and community. I can't ever thank you enough. I'm sorry I didn't say it enough, but I love you. Savanyara, one last time. Instead of saying sayonara, Savanyara, one last time. And there's her little drawing. And of course, people are saying the same thing, that they're going to be missed. And the very last part, just trying to get everything in here, trying to make sure every side is heard, at least as much as can be heard. Here's Gen 1 and Gen 2's statement regarding the graduation of Production Kawaii Gen 3. Just a little part of it. I'm going to have it go a little bit faster than normal because it's a lot to take in. But here it is. Let me make sure. Yep. Due to the speed in which we needed to make this video, talents Reina Sun, Namiji Frisia, and Lua Asuka were not able to record a statement. However, they stand in agreement with the statements made in this video. We have written these words together.
Made regarding the sudden graduation of talents Peony Elia, Mirio Kotofuji, Sawa Safari, and Aletta Sky. We remaining talents at Production Kawaii have written our own joint statement to clarify what happened and explain our perspective. First, we would like to take a moment to express our most sincere apologies to the fans of these 4 girls. We understand that it is surprising, and we know it may take a long time to heal from this shock. We are also shocked by this outcome, as we were completely blindsided by Gen 3's decision.
On Tuesday, March 28, 2023, we noticed that the members of Production Kawaii Gen 3 had suddenly canceled their scheduled streams seemingly all at the same time without prior warning. Nobody in Gen 3 had spoken with Gen 1, Gen 2, or management about the reason for the sudden canceled stream.
That's a problem.
So we asked if there was something going on.
As someone who is a very scatterbrained person, you all know me, I'm pretty scatterbrained. I do know this one thing. That is not something you do if you are under corporate management for your VTuber activities. You don't do that. You don't just randomly do that. You have to go through corporate. Sometimes, depending on what it is, if it's health related, yes, there's some leeway there. But usually if you're gonna all one generation cancel all of your streams, that's not good. That doesn't bode well. No corporation is gonna like this. This may bode very badly for them if they ends up getting out as it has. It could blacklist them. Hopefully it doesn't, but it could.
A member of Gen 3 responded quickly, stating that they were demanding an immediate meeting with management. The production kawaii management staff is based out of Japan, so the timing of their demand for an emergency meeting would have been around 3 o'clock in the morning Japan time. Per the words of 2 members of Gen 3, they assured us their canceled streams weren't done as a way to protest the company and that this wasn't really a big deal. They just really urgently wanted to have a meeting with management as soon as possible.
When we asked what the urgency was that demanded a meeting right this second, Gen 3 stated that they wanted to discuss with management the various concerns they had in regards to some of the plans and projects management had wanted to involve them in. A member of Gen 3 spoke up, stating that they were all feeling burnt out from streaming and they weren't feeling positive about the company's future plans. While we agreed with several of Gen 3's grievances and empathized with their feelings of burnout, we also stated that this did not seem to warrant the urgency they displayed to us.
True.
They assured Gen 1 and 2 that their actions were not drastic and that they had no intention to graduate despite canceling all their streams that day.
This is very drastic, by the way. Very
While the
drastic.
mention of graduation here might seem odd and out of place, it is something Gen 3 has threatened management with in the past. Gen 3 stressed that the cancellation of their streams was not some form of protest and that ultimately the situation was not actually a big deal. Gen 3 reassured us, and we believed them. We then expressed concern that canceling streams at the same time without explanation might worry the fans and lead to negative speculation.
It always does worry the
So we asked them
fans.
to tweet to reassure fans that there were no issues. No one in Gen 3 made this tweet.
See, that's not good
Management
either.
responded to Gen 3's request for a meeting in Japan's morning hours. During the meeting, Gen 3 raised their concerns about the timing of a possible Kickstarter campaign that would have funded their inclusion in Production Kawaii's idle activities, burnout, and concerns over the direction of the company. In response, management agreed and proposed different plans and directions for Gen 3. Despite these attempts to ease Gen 3's worries and adhere to their requests, the members of Gen 3 ultimately still chose to graduate as a group. Gen 3 broke the news to us about 13 hours after the start of their meeting with management. Because they had initially told Gens 1 and 2 that they were not going to threaten graduation and that this meeting was not such a big deal, we were completely caught off guard. We felt lied to. Just a month prior, members of Gen 3 were praising the company, and in recent days, multiple Gen 3 talents were making plans and projects with us and saying how happy they were to be with us.
Now, taking them at their word, taking them at exactly what they're saying, that's very immature. That's not. No corporation is going to want someone like that again, ever. You don't blindside a corporation like that. You don't blindside people like that. Yes, you may have disagreements, but that's what negotiations are about. You agreed to something like that when you had signed your contract to talk it out, not just decide, boom, I'm going to graduate. Taking them at their word, taking Gen 1 and Gen 2 at their word about things that are going on in the background. This doesn't bode well for just the way things were done. Things can always be done better.
In the days that followed, management spoke with each talent of Gen 3 in an attempt to better understand what led to their decision to graduate, as their collective reasoning did not make any sense to any of us. It was found that each girl had her own individual reasons that differed from what they initially told us was the driving force behind the emergency meeting they insisted on having with management. Initially, not everyone wanted to graduate, but they decided to do so as a group anyway. Management put in a lot of effort to understand and negotiate with Gen 3. There were many days and nights spent meeting with them at a time that was convenient for the talent, even if it was in the middle of the night in Japan. Management went to great lengths to try to get them to understand how extreme and sudden their decision was. Nevertheless, Gen 3 decided to graduate from Production Kawaii.
We in Gen 1 and 2 felt hurt and betrayed by Gen 3's decision. We felt, and still feel, that there was so much to look forward to in regards to this company's future. So, to leave at this point in time made no sense to us. Positive things like events, concerts, additional 3D model debuts, and plans for increasing support for talents. How could they not see what we see? This is what we thought. We felt as if the members of Gen 3 were focusing too much on negatives that could be easily resolved with discussion and time, rather than the bright path we thought lay before us. In a small company, because of our limited resources, some changes take time. It hasn't always been easy, but because of the efforts of the talents and management being open to feedback, several positive changes have been implemented internally over the past 2 years. This is all due to communication, patience, and willingness to work with management on the part of the talents. We remaining members of Production Kawaii have endured and made strides to build this company up to what it is today for nearly 2 years, and we honestly thought Gen 3 would be right alongside us in this journey. Believe us when we say we are just as shocked at this announcement as you are.
All of us wanted them to stay, even after all of this, but in the end, they decided to leave as a Gen. Perhaps this was done as a display of Gen 3 unity, but we saw it as a betrayal of Production Kawaii talent unity. Despite the time spent trying to work with them and understand them, Gen 3 ultimately decided that no accommodations, no future plans, and no promises would be enough for them to stay. Their minds were made up. They would leave their avatars, their channels, their fans, their senpai, and Production Kawaii as a whole behind.
We are all extremely hurt by their decision and shocked by the suddenness of this, both talent and management alike. Please give us time to heal as we move forward. And please know that the 7 of us in Gens 1 and 2 love Production Kawaii and genuinely want to be here, and we'll do our very best to continue putting smiles on your faces. We love what we are doing. We love who we are. We are proud of the changes and strides Production Kawaii has made in the 2 years we have existed thus far. We ask that you, the fans, continue putting your faith in us. We promise to always do our best.
Now, taking this as, like I said, face value, just as it's coming in, taking the information as it's coming in, this is a tiny company compared to things like Cover Corp, Niji Sanji, Anycolor, those large ones. So there's going to be growing pains, as they mentioned. There are growing pains in small organizations. It is a different work ethic, different work culture, different culture in general between Japanese and Western. So there are going to be some differences along there. From what it sounds like when it comes to Gen 1 and 2, from what they're mentioning, the management originally wanted to work as much as possible with this, with the issues that were happening. And because they've never reached anyone that has had issues like that in Gen 1 and Gen 2, who have gone through probably worse stuff and probably more crappy situations, they were fully surprised that Gen 3 did what they did. Now, I can't be in everyone's mind. Of course, I don't know what exactly were the reasonings behind what Gen 3 was doing, but it seems like there is a lot behind there that we don't know and will never know. What I will tell you is that it is a sad day on April 30th for a lot of people who wanted to see the future of Gen 3, the continued growth of Production Kawaii, and possibly moments when all gens were going to be together in probably like a larger production, etc. With, as they mentioned, Kickstarters for 3D lives for, 3D avatars. So that is tough for any corporation, any company, any group, any personality to go through. And like I said, whether or not it was fully irresponsible work from the Gen 3 or fully irresponsible work from the management and they're trying to cover it up, we won't know. These are things that are under NDA. These are things that a lot of the talents aren't even allowed to speak about. Gen 1 and Gen 2's announcement was most likely pushed through management and okayed through management with what they were going to say. That's why they chose their words very carefully during these times. Thank you for being here, and thank you for always supporting me. This is once again the Mad Salvi reporting on Production Kawaii's Gen 3's graduation announcement that it's going to be at April 30th, another graduation that we will all have to face. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day, and much love to each and every one of you.